I figured I probably should actually introduce myself as well before we go on to you. So I'm Gareth. That's probably what you need to know for now. I've been here for about 25 years, but Michael, Jeanette, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your sort of history at this church, your family? And
Good morning, everybody, first of all. Lovely to see you all. We've been here for 51 and a half years, through thick and thin. We've seen the highs and we've seen the lows, but overall it's been fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, I'd just like to say that we have experienced the highs and the lows, but we really believe in this church and where it's going, and we're excited for the future. So although it's been a difficult time recently, we're still there with it, and I hope you are too.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeanette. I think that's a very modest introduction. We've been here 51 years. Doesn't really list the millions of things that you've done for this church over your time here, but I'm sure most people know you anyway. So this morning we're looking at the topic of generosity. So I guess I've got sort of two questions. Oh, Michael's getting his glasses and his sermon out here, so I hope you're comfortable. Bullet points. Okay, but that's a lot of bullet points. Okay, so what is your experience of generosity, I guess, in terms of you giving generosity, you receiving, experiencing generosity, you sort of viewing it in the church or in your life outside of church? What's it look like for you over the years?
Yeah, well, generosity, we've received lots of that through the church and through our friends. I've had surgery and an accident, and I've just been so blessed by the people that have given us meals and really helped us out in practical ways. So we have received generosity greatly, and we're very thankful for that. As far as we're concerned, when we first came to the church, money was very tight. We had a young family, and we tried to give systematically, but we struggled a bit because of the finances, and we cheated. So
confession
we had this
time.
amount that we were supposed to be giving, but we'd take a little bit off for petrol or something else, you know. And it was only when we were honest with God and with ourselves and started giving regularly, we found that God really did honour that, and God provided it for us in numerous ways. That was amazing. I won't go into it now, but yeah, we've seen both sides really, and you can't outgive God.
No.
And although we're not setting ourselves up to be so amazingly generous, this is just our experience of generosity over our years.
Yeah. Michael?
Yes, I think I would say that we've now got to the place where we actually love to give. We've received so much blessing over the years, and I believe it's, first of all, a heart thing, giving.
Don't ruin my sermon, Michael.
It's a prayer thing. And what we try to do now is, we seek to pray before we give, and we seek to come to a common amount that we should give, and we found that a real blessing as well.
Wonderful. And as you've observed generosity in others, or your generosity, what impact have you seen in people's lives? I know, Michael, you've been heavily involved over the years in finances, in money, both in terms of the church and helping other people. So I'm sure you've got millions of stories where you've seen people's generosity and the impact that has had. So tell us a bit about that.
I think what I need to say, first of all, I genuinely believe that God has got a call upon my life. And that manifested itself through, first of all, working in a bank for 36 years. And that was really preparation time for what God has now called me, or did call me 25 years ago to do. And that was to set up a ministry where we can help the poor, help people with financial difficulties, financial problems, advocacy. We wanted something that was totally free to people and confidential, and in the year 2000 that was set up. Now, alongside that, I was also treasurer for 36 years here, and saw some absolutely amazing things happen. It's a real privileged position in those days to be treasurer. I could tell all sorts of stories, but we won't. Suffice to say that God was very, very good and blessed us abundantly. Going on to what I do now, I spend 4 mornings a week seeing different people, up to half a dozen a week usually, and that's just to help them with anything from universal credit problems to anything it might be, wills, attendance allowance, whatever. And God has just blessed that over the years in an amazing way. I reckon probably in the 25 years, it must be over 5,000 people I've seen.
Wow.
And when you think that, and you just know from them what it means to them. It's all about giving people hope and lifting burdens. And I've seen a lot of that. And people come and say thank you time and time again. If people can go away from the first interview saying, a burden has been lifted from me, that's the blessing I get. And that's just fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. Jeanette?
What am I supposed to say after all that?
Well, amen, yeah?
Amen, yeah, I'll do.
I know, Jeanette, that you have impacted on at least as many people's lives as Michael over the years, so don't be so modest.
But, yeah, mine's been much more background. I've done lots of different jobs in the church. I was supervisor of the playgroup for a lot of years, and I've helped out in all sorts of areas. So more now, it's more about supporting people and friends and family, and supporting Michael. That's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
But we've, as I said earlier, we've received generosity, and we delight to give. And I just think there's so much joy in giving. I just love to help people. I'm not so good at the big organisations, but to support somebody in their ministry. We've got a compassion child, and we also sponsor 2 students in Zimbabwe for their school fees to enable them to go to school, and all of that just gives me so much joy and pleasure. But it's just great.
Fantastic.
And we're just thankful that we can do it now.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not setting ourselves up to be the epitome of generosity, but just what God has given us, really. Yeah. So we're just very thankful.
And I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Gratitude and thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. Any final words of wisdom, or is that a risky thing to ask,
That's
Michael?
a very risky thing, Gareth.
I would just say we cannot outgive God.
Yeah.
One of the words I've been thinking a lot about is the word investment. And we talk about when we say the Lord's Prayer, we talk about asking for his kingdom to come onto earth. And that's what we're about. We're wanting to see God's kingdom come on earth. And I've got to the point where I think to myself, can there be any better investment than putting our time, our money, our talents, our creative skills into his kingdom? And that's really spoken to me, big time. And I do like to meditate on different things, and that's one that's really got to me and is very much part of me these days, investing in the kingdom.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Michael and Jeanette. Should we just put them back up there?